Imagine you are a player competing at the World Cup. You are a center back, and standing in front of you are some of the most dangerous attackers in the world. The players I'm about to reveal. Some can destroy your entire defensive plan with a single run. But when we reach number 1, we may find an attacking arsenal deeper than anything we have ever seen in World Cup history. If you are ready, let's begin. Here are the 7 most terrifying attacks at the 2026 World Cup. Number 7. Brazil. When we talk about Brazil's attack, everything begins with one name, Vinícius Júnior. Stopping him in open space is almost impossible. The moment you push your defensive line a few yards higher, Vinícius can break through with one run and find himself one-on-one with the goalkeeper. But if you sit deep, he collects the ball and runs directly at you. In Brazil's victory over Haiti, Vinícius scored 1 goal and provided 2 assists. He was directly involved in all 3 of his team's goals. But if the danger of this attack is not limited to Vinícius and his speed, Matheus Cunha does not stay in one position like a traditional penalty box striker. He drops toward midfield, connects the play, and creates space for Vinícius to move into the inside channel. On the right, Rafinha cuts inside and becomes another goal threat. When this front 3 works properly, Brazil can move from defense to attack in a matter of seconds. But if there's one problem, it is squad depth. The absence of Rodrigo and Estevan has reduced Brazil's options. Rafinha's physical condition is also a concern. The starting group is extremely strong, but the options coming from the bench are not as convincing as those of France or England. Brazil's ceiling is still incredibly high, but as the tournament progresses, relying on the same 3 or 4 players could become dangerous. And if Brazil are fast, the next team are deadly in a completely different way, because they do not need many chances. Number 6. Argentina. Argentina do not need to trap their opponent inside the penalty area for 90 minutes. Sometimes Lionel Messi only needs a few touches in the right areas. Argentina scored 3 goals against Algeria. Messi scored all 3, but the team's total number of touches inside the opposition penalty area was surprisingly low. That tells us something important. Argentina can punish their opponents without creating a huge number of chances. Messi is no longer a player who runs during every moment of the game, but he still sees the smallest opening in a defense before anyone else. Leaving just a few yards between the midfield and defensive lines can be enough for him. When Messi receives the ball, he has 2 different options in front of him. Julian Alvarez is constantly moving, making runs behind the defense and pressing without the ball. Lautaro Martinez is a more direct finisher inside the penalty area. Scaloni can choose between the 2 depending on the defensive structure of the opponent. One provides movement and pressing, the other provides a one-touch threat inside the box. Argentina's greatest advantage is their experience. These players know how to remain calm in the biggest matches. Even when they lose control of the game, they do not panic. They wait for the right moment to arrive. But this is also where their biggest question mark appears. Argentina's attack is still heavily dependent on Lionel Messi's creativity. As the tournament continues, the matches will become more physical. Whether Messi can produce the same impact in every game could be decisive. Still, make one mistake against Argentina and you could pay a very heavy price. The next team does not try to defeat you by waiting for a single mistake. They try to overpower you physically again and again. But before I explain how, if you have not subscribed to the channel yet, make sure you subscribe and turn on the notification bell. Number 5. Norway. Most teams have one striker that defenders fear. Norway can put 2 of them on the field at the same time. Erling Haaland and Alexander Sørloth. 2 giant strikers, 2 powerful finishers, 2 different threats in the air. And around them, there is Antonio Nusa, a player capable of destroying the balance of a defense. Everyone knows what Haaland is going to do. He will run behind the defense, he will find the right position inside the penalty area, and he will score without needing many touches. But knowing what he is going to do does not mean you can stop him. Push your defensive line higher, and Haaland uses his speed. Sit deep, and Sørloth occupies the penalty area and dominates in the air. Focus on both strikers, and Nusa gets an opportunity to attack his defender one-on-one from the wing. Norway's attack may not look complicated, but it is incredibly direct. After winning the ball, they do not spend much time building the attack. Their first thought is to move forward. Their second is to get Haaland on the ball as close to the goal as possible. They won all 8 of their European qualifying matches and scored 37 goals. They also scored 4 against Iraq in their opening World Cup match. Haaland found the net twice in that game. But Norway have one problem they need to solve. When the opposition closes the central passing lanes toward Haaland, the creative responsibility falls on Nusa and the midfield. Norway do not have as many elite passers as France or Spain. Norway frighten you with their physical power. The next team, however, can answer almost every tactical question with a different attacking player. Number 4. England. The greatest strength of England's attack is not simply the names of the players, it is the way they complement one another. Harry Kane is not just a goal scorer. He moves away from the penalty area, receives the ball, and directs the attack. When Kane drops deep, the opposing center-back has a difficult decision to make. Should he follow him, or should he remain in the defensive line? If the center-back follows Kane, a huge space opens behind him. Jude Bellingham, Bukayo Saka, or Marcus Rashford can run into that space. If the center-back stays deep, Kane can turn comfortably and control the attack. On the right, Saka likes to receive the ball at his feet and attack his defender one-on-one. On the left, Rashford makes more direct runs toward the goal. Bellingham arrives inside the penalty area as the second wave. That is why defending against England is not easy. The moment you focus on one player, someone else becomes free. They scored 4 goals against Croatia. Kane found the net twice, while Bellingham and Rashford also scored. England's goals were not dependent on just one player. However, that match also provided a warning. A significant number of England's dangerous chances came from set pieces. They were not always able to produce the same fluidity in open play. Saka's physical condition is being managed carefully. On paper, England have one of the best attacking lines in the world, but one question separates them from the top 3. Can all of these players reach their best level at the same time in the biggest matches? Because the team in third place have players on both wings who can become a defender's worst nightmare. Number 3. Spain. A defense may be able to prepare for Lamine Yamal. Another defense may be able to find a solution for Nico Williams. But what do you do when they are attacking from opposite wings at the same time? This is where Spain's greatest strength begins. When Yamal receives the ball on the right wing, he can cut inside, shoot, or play an unexpected pass behind the defense. On the left, Nico can use his speed to reach the end line or drive directly into the penalty area. The opposing defense is forced to spread out, but the moment it does, space appears in the center for Pedri, Dani Olmo, and Mikel Oyarzabal. Spain took 27 shots against Cape Verde in their opening match, but failed to score. They controlled possession but did not create enough high-quality chances. That match revealed Spain's weakness. Having possession does not always mean being dangerous. But when Lamine Yamal returned to the starting lineup, the picture changed completely. Spain began to play more vertically, more quickly, and with greater courage. They scored 3 goals in the opening 24 minutes against Saudi Arabia and finished the match with 4. Oyarzabal's movement is extremely important in this system. Instead of waiting in one position like a traditional striker, he pulls the center-backs out of position. That creates inside channels for Yamal and Nico to attack. When Spain's attack finds its rhythm, winning the ball back from them becomes almost impossible. But they can become impatient against teams that defend deep and narrow. When their wingers cannot win their one-on-one battles, Spain's attack can turn into a sequence of sideways passes. Even so, the thought that Yamal has not yet reached his highest level should worry every opponent. But Spain are not the highest-scoring team in the tournament so far. The team in second place started producing a flood of goals before even reaching full capacity. Number 2. Germany. Germany scored 9 goals in their first 2 matches. 9, 7 against Curacao and 2 against Ivory Coast. That number is impressive by itself, but what makes Germany truly frightening is their ability to score through different players and in different ways. Florian Wirtz and Jamal Musiala constantly exchange positions in the space between the opposition's midfield and defensive lines. Tracking both of them individually is almost impossible. When one moves into the center, the other drifts wide. When one comes toward the ball, the other runs behind the defense. Germany also have two different options in the striker position. Kai Havertz can drop deep and play like a false nine. That movement creates space for Wirtz and Musiala to enter the penalty area. When Dennis Undav plays, Germany become a more direct team. Undav produced 3 goals and 2 assists at the beginning of the tournament, making him one of the most productive players in the attack. Germany can score by possession. They can score on fast transitions. They can open a defense with short combinations through the center. They can also create results by delivering early crosses into the penalty area. That means one defensive plan is not enough to stop them. But there is still one unanswered question about Germany. 7 of their 9 goals came against Curaçao. Can they play with the same freedom when they face a truly elite defense? Musiala also appears to be short of his best rhythm after returning from a long-term injury. Is that a weakness for Germany? Or is it even more frightening news? Because when Musiala returns to his best level, Germany's attack could become even stronger than it is now. Even so, we did not place them at number 1, because the team at the top of this list does not simply have a powerful starting lineup, they almost have 2 separate elite attacking lines. Number 1, France. When preparing to face France, the first problem is Kylian Mbappé. But if you focus only on Mbappé, Ousmane Dembélé finds space. If you try to control Dembélé, Michael Olise begins to dictate the attack. And if you think you have managed to stop all 3 of them, you turn toward the sideline and look at the bench. Désiré Doué, Bradley Barcola, Ryan Cherki, Marcus Thuram. This is exactly what separates France from every other team. They do not simply have one terrifying front 3. They have a second attacking line that can completely change the game depending on how the match develops. Mbappé attacks the space behind a defense better than almost anyone in the world. When the opposing defensive line moves a few yards forward, catching him becomes almost impossible. Olise is a different kind of threat. When he receives the ball on the right, he does not have to attack the goal immediately. He can slow the game down, wait for the defense to move, and then play the ball into the open space in the center at exactly the right moment. Dembélé makes it difficult for defenders to predict what will happen next. He can attack from the right, from the left, or move into the center. Because he can use both feet, forcing him in one direction is almost impossible. France scored 3 goals against Senegal. Mbappé scored 2 of them. Olise connected the attack through his passing and the balls he played behind the defense. But the main reason France are at the top of this list is their ability to change their identity during a match. If the opposition sits deep, Olise and Dembélé can find solutions in tight spaces. If the defensive line pushes higher, Mbappé can run behind it. If the match becomes physical, Thuram can enter the game. If France need more one-on-one threats, they can use Barcola or Doué. When the opposition begins to tire, the speed France brings from the bench becomes a brutal test for any defense. Of course, having so many attacking players can also create problems. If every player wants the ball at his feet, the balance of the team can disappear. If the roles are not clearly defined, the attack can become too dependent on individual actions. But the level of raw talent France possesses is far greater than that risk. Germany may have scored more goals so far. Spain may control more possession. Norway may be more physical. Argentina may have more experience. But no team presents an opposing defense with as many different problems as France. That is why France have the most terrifying attack at the 2026 World Cup. But tournaments are not won on paper. One injury, one red card, or one missed opportunity could change the entire ranking. Perhaps the Netherlands or Portugal, the 2 teams we left outside the top 7, will reach a completely different level in the knockout rounds. Perhaps Germany will continue scoring and knock France off the top spot. Or perhaps Lamine Yamal will turn this tournament into his own story. So which team do you think has the most terrifying attack at the World Cup? Are France really number 1? Or should Germany, Spain, or Argentina be ranked higher? Write your top 3 in the comments.